It's high noon.
Welcome back, everybody. Broncos Gaming World. Bronco here. Today, we're going to take a little bit of a quick, in-depth look at the all-time rosters here on the NFL 100 mod by Goji. Goki on techmobile.org that we're using here for our season with the Cleveland Browns. We're going to start at a little bit of a different spot here. We're going to take a look at the NFC West. San Francisco 49ers. Let's take a look at these assholes. Player data. Here's a roster before we go scanning through the guys. Let's take a look at what they ended up going with here on this mod. Montana and Young, solid picks both ways. Frank Gore, fine. Tom Rathman as fullback, solid. Roger Craig, Ricky Waters, fine. Good with both of those guys. Jerry Rice and T.O., disgusting. Dwight Clark, solid. John Taylor, meh. Vernon Davis, decent tight ends. Tight end like Brent Jones a little better. Their offensive line is solid. Randy Cross, Jesse Sapolu, Harris Barton, just freaking monstrous. Joe Nedney for their kickers, weird. Andy Lee. On the defensive side, you got Justin Smith, Dana Stubblefield, Bryant Young, Ken Norton, Merton Hanks, Patrick Willis, absolute monster. Charles Haley, monster. Dion's questionable. Would he play for him for a year? Come on. Eric Wright, Ronnie Lott. Their safeties are stupid. Ronnie Lott and Tim McDonald. Holy crap. All right, let's take a look. Montana. He's pretty damn good. I mean, I'd say that he needs to be like the best that there was. And this stat line kind of gives that to you. Steve Young. He's in bad here, but he still looks solid. His running speed, hitting power, probably not quite what they need to be because he should be a better runner. Frank Gore, absolute freaking stud. The endurance of Frank Gore was just insane. Dude played for like freaking damn near 20 years as a running back. Get out of here. Tom Rathman, solid fullback. Stud in OG Tecmo Super Bowl. I think he had a hitting power of 94. He was just popcorning bitches all over the place. Roger Craig, solid. Always liked him. Ricky Waters, I liked him too. Garrison Hurst could have been here too because he was a pretty good running back for them. Jerry Rice, I mean, is there going to be a better receiver in the game? I can't imagine how there would be. T.O., this T.O. in excellent, which is absolutely insane. Dwight Clark, he was always solid. Forgotten man. I mean, he's the guy who makes the catch. Look that play up. John Taylor, he's always a solid return guy, which is kind of what they've got him doing here, so I'm okay with him being here. If they're going for a return man, that's fine. Vernon Davis, that's him, and excellent. He's pretty good. I like Brent Jones better. Like if I had to make the roster here, like if I'm making the roster, I'm running Gore, Rathman, Rice Owens. I'm throwing Brent Jones here, and John Taylor's returning my kicks. I mean, I guess you're getting Roger Craig some playtime, so that's fine. That's what I'd run. That's what I'm just going to leave it because I think that's really where it's at. All right, here the Los Angeles Rams, LA Rams. Warner. So, hold on, let's look at the roster before you go in depth. Kurt Warner, Jared Goff's questionable. I like Jim Everett here. I like that a little bit better than Jared Goff. Jared Goff got him to a Super Bowl, I suppose, but I think Jim Everett was a better call here. Todd Gurley, solid. Henry Ellard, great receiver for them. Dickerson, come on. Marshall Faulk, come on. Steven Jackson, backup running backs. Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holtz, their starting receivers. Can't really beat those. Elroy Hirsch, he's pretty good. Tyler Higbee, Roland Williams. They got Orlando Pace and Jackie Slater. What more do you need on the tackles? Deacon, Aaron Donald, Merlin Olsen. Their front seven is insane. Just absolutely bonkers. That D line of Deacon Jones, Aaron Donald, and Merlin Olsen, untouchable. Jack Youngblood, come on. Todd Light is a decent corner. London Fletcher, always solid. I would not say spectacular, but solid as a rock. Kevin Green, monster man. Night Train. What more do you need? Aeneas Williams. I find Aeneas Williams questionable here. I assume the game allows duplicate players because I assume we'll see Aeneas Williams on the Cardinals as well. Nolan Cromwell, solid. Eddie Metter, okay. Don't know who some of those guys are. Like, I'm like a mid 80s onward guy, so you get me into the early 80s, 70s, 60s. I'm gonna know some guys, but I'm not gonna have in-depth knowledge of all of them here. All right, Warner looks good and average. Jared Goff and good. Jared Goff's actually, they have him statistically better than Warner, which I find ridiculous because no. Todd Gurley, really good. Henry Ellard. This is another one of those guys that's kind of a forgotten man. He was super good in the late 80s, early 90s for the Rams. Dickerson, one of the best of all time. Don't care what anybody says. For a 6-year period, man, the guy was untouchable. Dickerson's kind of he's a Hall of Famer. Honestly, one of my favorite players of all time, if not my favorite player of all time. The tough part is that he got, from 84 to 90, he was unbelievable. And then he just disappeared. He's a lot like Don Mattingly in baseball. Don Mattingly was quite possibly one of the best players, if not the best player in baseball for 6 years. And then he just disappeared. And in baseball, they're so stingy, they won't give him a Hall of Fame nod, even though he should be there. Where in the NFL, Dickerson, deservedly Hall of Famer, still holds the all-time rushing record in a single season. Saquon Barkley did not get it done this year. He probably could have. They chose not to chase it. Oh well. That's my Eric Dickerson rant. Marshall Faulk, I think it's also ridiculous. One of my all-time favorite players as well here, Marshall Faulk. Loved him in college. Honestly, one of the best college football players I've ever seen in my life. If you haven't seen him play in college, go look it up on YouTube. There's some shit out there. He's one of the best of all time. Isaac Bruce, everybody knows him. He's freaking solid. Torrey Holt should be in the Hall of Fame because he was freaking solid receiver. Steven Jackson, thug. Ray Hirsch, pretty good. Tyler Higbee, decent tight end. Roland Williams, I liked him a little bit better. You got Pace. Ugh. That hitting power 75. Hitting power 94. Jackie Slater. Look out. Just a thug on the outside. He's just going to maul you. And then you get to their defense. Deacon, head slap Jones. Unbelievable. Aaron Donald. Just a monster at nose tackle. Merlin Olsen. A lot of people only remember him being a broadcaster. He's something else. He's next level. Jack Youngblood, just a thug. I mean, unbelievable. Todd Light, he's pretty good. I think they got him overstated here, but he's pretty good. Lennon Fletcher, always solid. Kevin Green, yeah. Night Train, it's all right. Aeneas Williams, whoa. Curious to see what Aeneas Williams looks like on the Cardinals. If they have it. I think they do. I'll be curious. Cromwell, pretty good. They definitely don't have a ton of safeties here for the Rams. Eddie Metter. All right, there's your Rams. I'm going to go. All right, so that's what it should look like in my opinion. Roll it like that. They should be all right. CLC Chickens. Russell Wilson, and Matt Hasselbeck. I like Dave Craig here. I like Dave Craig over probably. It's tough. I don't know if they're both real good. Sean Alexander, he was for a few seasons he was untouchable. I won't say he's quite like Dickerson because he's nowhere near as good, but he's kind of the flash in the pan like him. Where he was good for 3 or 4 years and then he just vanished. He's worse than Dickerson. He just vanished. Sean Alexander went from 1,600 yards carrying the damn team to the Super Bowl to gone. Poof. Doesn't exist anymore. Doug Baldwin, it's okay. Marshawn, Beastquake. Chris Warren, I like Chris Warren a lot. I like Kurt Warner better than Chris Warren here, but it's fine. I'm kind of bummed out that they don't have Kurt Warner here. Largent, one of my favorite players of all time. Joe Galloway from The Ohio State University. Golden Tate, pretty good. Daryl Jackson. More receivers here. They only gave them 3 running backs and gave them 4 or 5 receivers. Jimmy Graham. I would not say Jimmy Graham was anything special for the Seahawks. I don't like him as much here. I don't like Zach Miller that much either. Obviously, tight end depth for the Seahawks isn't a thing. Their O-line, though, is Hutchinson and Walter Jones and Okung. What? On the defensive side, Michael Sinclair. Not familiar with him. Cortez Kennedy. Oh, my God, that guy was a monster. Jacob Green, Rufus Porter. Earl Thomas, what? Bobby Wagner, what? KJ Wright, pretty good. Dave Brown, Richard Sherman, Eugene Robinson, and Kenny Easley. I mean, you can argue like a guy like Cam Chancellor here, but I'm okay with Eugene Robinson, Kenny Easley. Those guys were both freaking just studs for them. All right, let's see what they give you. Russell, got some scrambling ability with max speed of 50. That's not bad. That looks about right. I would say that's right on the mark for Russell Wilson. Matt Hasselbeck, that's about dead on. At his peak, this was about where he was. Sean Alexander, when he was at his best, there was nobody better. Freaking stud. Doug Baldwin, decent receiver. As I say, you look at his stats here, that's about right. I mean, yeah, he's in bad condition, so you throw him up 6 more points across the board. If you're looking at these guys to be like at their very, very best, these stat lines are pretty good. I think Marshawn is a little undervalued here. Yes, he's in bad, so he'd be a 37, 25, 51, 81. He's underpowered here, in my opinion. Chris Warren is an excellent. Chris Warren was very, very good. I liked him a lot. I just would have preferred to see Kurt Warner here. Maybe like Kurt Warner over Doug Baldwin. Got Largent, one of the best to ever do it. Joey Galloway. Dude had some wheels. Golden Tate, solid receiver for a long time for them. Daryl Jackson, he's decent. Again, another guy that they could have gone with somebody else. Jimmy Graham, he's not looking great here. Zach Miller, probably a slightly better tight end, in my opinion. They got some dudes on the O-line. Friggin' Hutchinson, he's in bad. Okung, he's freaking stud. Walter Jones, one of the best ever. Their kickers is Norm Johnson and Rick Tootin. D-line, Michael Sinclair, he's all right. Cortez, oh, look at that! Look at the 100 hitting power out of Cortez Kennedy. Whew. That means that they're just going to snap the ball and the center is going to go flying. Because what? His quickness of 94 and hitting power of 100. Hundy. Cortez Kennedy. What? Jacob Green. He's like half the man that Cortez Kennedy is. Rufus Porter, I remember him. He was pretty good. He's an excellent here. Earl Thomas, just inexplicably good. Bobby Wagner, same thing. He's an excellent to boot here. So this is his good quickness 100. KJ Wright. Dave Brown. Corners. Their D is an excellent. I'm glad I'm not playing them. I might be. I don't know. Richard Sherman. Solid. Eugene Robinson. Solid. Kenny Easley, solid. Those guys were so good back in the day. All right, would I make any changes to the guys that are playing? No. If anything, it'd be like Zach Miller or Jimmy Graham. That'd be about it. Everything else is probably pretty good. All right, last team in the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals. A lot more modern players on here. They don't have a lot of great history. I would have liked to have seen Neil Lomax over Carson Palmer probably. Kurt Warner, so that does validate that they do have two different versions of the player in here. This Kurt Warner better than the Rams Kurt Warner by a lot, even though he's an excellent here. So they got Kurt Warner, Carson Palmer, fine. David Johnson, okay. Quan, Otis Anderson. Okay, Emmitt Smith needs to get out of here. He's not an all-time freaking Cardinals great. Johnny Johnson is your guy here. Not Emmett, sorry. No. Larry Fitzgerald, Roy Green, Larry Centers, solid pick. I'm glad he's there. Frank Sanders, I like JT Smith better over Frank Sanders. Jackie Smith is a Hall of Famer. They had guys like freaking Jay Novacek, Rob Awalt, both pretty good. Had some dudes on the O-line, Louis Sharp and Dan Deerdorf. Had some guys, Lyle Sinline as their center. That guy's not that good. Rich Camarillo, solid Jim Backen. Let's look at their D. Their D's got some names. Are they good? They weren't great when they played for the Cardinals, like Simeon Rice. He was okay with the Cardinals, but he was great with, like, Tampa. Eric Swan, that guy. Talk to anybody in Arizona about Eric Swan. They're going to tell you how bad that guy sucked. That dude was all upside that never got there. Freddie Joe Nunn, I liked him. Ken Harvey, solid. Larry Wilson, good. Eric Hill and London Fletcher, like the same guy, just solid as a rock for a long time. Carlos Dansby, solid. Night Train, I forgot that he played for them as well. Patrick Peterson, good call there. Aeneas Williams and Adrian Wilson, both solid players. Like to see them both. All right, let's take a look at some stat lines. Kurt Warner, we already looked at him for a brief second. This is him in excellent, so he's just unbelievable. Carson, not quite so good. I mean, Carson Palmer did some good things for the Cardinals, but it's a crime that Neil Lomax isn't the guy here. It's a crime. It makes me sad because Neil Lomax was a very, very good quarterback in the 80s. If that dude could have stayed healthy, he could have done something special for them. And instead, he kind of was a little bit of an also-ran guy. He never really played too much with Arizona, so maybe that's the difference. Though they do have some guys that are coming from an era when they were in St. Louis. David Johnson, solid. I wouldn't say he's like their first top running back. Anquan Bolden, solid. Great career. Played well for the Cardinals for a long time. Otis Anderson, he was a great running back. Most people remember him when he ended up with the Giants and helping them win Super Bowls in the late 80s, early 90s. He's pretty good, though. Like Stump Mitchell. Emmitt Smith, this is not the Emmitt Smith that played for Arizona. He was if you put him in bad condition, that might be what Emmitt Smith for the Cardinals would have been in excellent condition. This is a misplay. I don't think Emmitt belongs here. Larry Fitzgerald, he's in bad. That's Larry Fitzgerald in bad, which is still pretty good. I do like to acknowledge that they show you that he doesn't have a whole lot of speed, because even in average or good, he's not the fastest guy, but he's got hands like nobody else. Roy Green, I like him a lot. He's a OG St. Louis Cardinals guy. Larry Centers, one of the best pass-catching fullbacks of all time. Underrated like a mofo. Frank Sanders, he's a good receiver. I like JT Smith better here, but he's a good receiver. Jackie Smith, Hall of Fame friggin' tight end. Doug Marsh, he's pretty good too. Dan Deerdorf, 88 hitting power. We like it. Louis Sharp, 69. He's good. He's an underrated guy. A lot of people forget about Louis Sharp. Simeon Rice. A lot of people forget that he came up with the Cardinals and played with them for a good while. He's pretty damn good in Tampa. Eric Swan. That guy, he never reached the potential that he could have been. It bums me out. Freddie Joe Nunn, stud. Ken Harvey, solid outside linebacker. Kind of a forgotten man. Larry Wilson, solid inside guy. Eric Hill, that dude just had a solid all the way around career. Nothing to be mad about. Carlos Dansby, similar kind of guy. Had a lot more upside. Made some plays in the heyday in the late 2000s with the Cardinals when they made their Super Bowl run and they were in the playoffs a bunch. Did some things for him. Night Train, what? Come on. Whoo-hoo. Patrick Peterson, what? I mean, this is peak Patrick Peterson right here. So I'm all right with it. I think he's slightly overrated, but damn, he was pretty damn good for a few years. Aeneas Williams, what? Ooh, the DBs for the Cardinals. Outrageous. Holy shit, look at the freaking defensive backs for the Cardinals and Adrian Wilson, who oddly enough is the worst of the group, and he's still really good, and he was a great player for the Cardinals for a long time. Their defensive backfield of Night Train Lane, Patrick Peterson, Aeneas Williams, and Adrian Wilson, and that's not giving them Tim McDonald, who played for them for a long time before he was with San Francisco. They don't even give him Tim McDonald here. Dumb. Their defensive backfield's dumb. Offensive starters, yes. I like Otis Anderson better than David Johnson. Bolden, Fitzgerald, Green, yes. Smith, yes. We'll throw David Johnson to return kicks for him. There we go. That's the team based on what they've got. That's the team that it should be on the field. All right, folks. That's a look at the NFC West here. Tecmo Super Bowl NFL 100 mod off of TecmoBowl.org. Folks, till next time, please like, subscribe here in Broncos Gaming World, and I will see you again soon. Good night now.
Boom goes the dynamite.